Welcome back. 5:29 the time, a minute before 5:30. Wildfire coverage continues here. These flames still burning in Southern California. KTLA's chopper high above showing us the hillsides there in the Angeles National Forest just north and east of downtown LA. Fire officials reporting, though, they've made significant progress against the wildfire. When you went to bed, it was only about 5% contained. Now it is up to 22% containment. So they are making progress there. The fire, though, has scorched at this point nearly 200 square miles. And damage estimate teams report that the number of homes destroyed has been raised. It was 53. It is now 62 this morning. The Sheriff's Department says the number of homes under mandatory evacuation orders right now at about 4,000 or so. In fact, the Sheriff's spokesperson says another 2,000 in the city of Los Angeles remain under mandatory evacuation orders as well. And we're also following the latest on this fire online. In fact, we've got some photographs to show you this morning. AP photographers on the scene, on the ground, with firefighters giving us these shots. Bring this full screen. You can see this row of firefighters. They're trekking up a very steep hill, and this is the kind of terrain that firefighters are dealing with. It is steep out there, and as you can see in the background, the fire is marching along, and here you see how tall those flames are. In the foreground here, that is a person. And here you can see how high these flames are. This is what firefighters are facing as they continue to work on that containment line. Here you can see obviously more damage as roadsides are charred by this, and homes as well. This is what's left of some of the wonderful stonework on this home. Here you see a fireplace in the background. In the foreground here, another sculpture, and just absolutely destroyed by these flames. Again, firefighters have about 75 miles of fire line still to dig before this fire is fully contained. But at this point, it is 22% contained. We'll have more throughout the morning. We also want to bring you the latest here on the developments in the J.C. Dugard case and the investigation of the confessed captors, Philip and Nancy Garrido. Here's what we know. Take a look at your screen. The lawyers for Nancy Garrido now speaking out about his client. We'll hear from him in a moment. Also, Pittsburgh police say no evidence was found at the Garrido home that connects either Garrido or his wife to any of the unsolved murders in Pittsburgh. And we're also learning more about why Garrido was released from Nevada prison after serving only 11 years of his lifetime sentence. More on that in a moment. But as we said, we are hearing now for the first time from Nancy Garrido's lawyer. Take a listen to what he had to say.
I've been trying to establish a line of communication with my clients so that I can get behind what is going on. I mean, I'm sure you understand that this is a horrendous thing for her. I mean, I realize it's horrendous for JC and her parents and the children. But my concern right now is that my client get a fair trial. And to do that, I have to open a line of communication in which she will confide in me and talk to me, so I can formulate any defense that is available, so I can discover it and formulate it. That's part of my job.
Now, again, Pittsburgh police say they have found no evidence to connect Philip Garrido or his wife to several unsolved murders that they're still investigating. But Antioch police have been investigating Philip Garrido for 2 open murder cases in that city. At this point, they have ruled out one of those cases because Garrido was in prison at the time that murder was committed. But detectives won't give any details about the other case they're looking into. But they say that potential links between that case and Garrido are still being examined. And we're now learning more about why the state of Nevada paroled Philip Garrido after serving only 11 years behind bars. He was, of course, convicted in federal court of kidnapping and then also convicted in state court for rape charges. KRON 4's Dan Kerman explains.
It turns out in April of '88, they actually denied him parole, and then months later in August of '88, they granted him parole. But it was a close vote, the 5-member board voting 3-2 in favor of his release. They based that release on a risk assessment, the scale 0 to 10, with 10 being the least amount of risk. They determined based on his record and his past crimes and his behavior, he only rated a 6, which was a moderate risk, and thus should only serve 10.5 years behind bars. By this time, he had served 11 years, so they decided to release him. Dan Kerman, KRON 4 News.
Meanwhile, the California Department of Corrections says it is now launching a top-to-bottom internal investigation of the entire parole supervision of Philip Garrido. Gordon Hinkle, a spokesperson for the Department of Corrections, says the Concord parole agent who helped unravel the case is now helping investigators and prosecutors in El Dorado County, where Philip Garrido and his wife are currently being held. Garrido's parole agent visited him twice a month, but never spotted any sign of J.C. Dugard or her 2 children. But to be fair, neither did any of Garrido's neighbors, who live next to him and have been for days, years, as a matter of fact. Nobody had a clue. And be sure to stay with KRON 4 News for the latest on any of the information that's coming out here in this case. And it seems to be new information coming out daily, so keep it here for the latest. Our website, too, KRON4.com, has been redesigned. We've got a special section there with the latest on the stories, video links, as well as information on how to help donate to the J.C. Dugard Fund. You'll find all of that in our news links section at KRON4.com. All right, at 5:35, let's get over to the Weather Center now. Drew Harmon keeping an eye on the forecast for today. Good morning, Drew.
Good morning, James. Looking at a mild start. Temperatures this morning just a little bit higher than what we saw yesterday, but we're heading to spend a holiday weekend and wrap up the summer. James?
All right, Drew, thank you very much. And a quick reminder as we head towards the holiday weekend, we are counting down to the shutdown. And look at here, only one day left. Don't forget, Thursday night at 8 p.m. That's tomorrow night at 8 p.m. The Bay Bridge will be shut down to all traffic. Caltrans will be using the Labor Day weekend to swap out a section of the bridge, and here's a shot of a Caltrans camera mounted there on Yerba Buena Island, looking back at traffic traveling westbound on the upper deck there into the tunnel at Yerba Buena Island. And before too long, we're going to see this as an empty shot. Nothing but Caltrans construction workers are going to be on that come Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and then early Tuesday morning. So keep it tuned here to KRON 4. We're going to have continuous coverage of the project, and our website, KRON4.com, has got all the links you need to get to learn about the project and to find out how to get around while it's closed down. George Rass now standing by in the traffic center with a look at the commute this morning. Hey, George.
Hey, James. Well, we're still looking at a pretty good ride. We haven't seen any trouble spots, any hot spots for the ride around the Bay Area, and you can go through at a higher speed, and the sensors are actually overhead. So it should make for, they say, they believe, even though they're going to reduce the number of lanes because of the increase in speed, that it should not add any delays to the Bay Bridge. But again, that comes on Tuesday morning. James?
All right, George, thank you very much. And again, as we head off to break, we'll leave you with live pictures from Southern California where you can see portions of the hillside still aglow here in the Angeles National Forest. Fires are making good progress this morning. They've gone from 5% containment to 22% containment, but you can see it is still growing. 127,000 acres now burned. We'll have more on this story coming up in a moment. Stay with us.